Welcome back, friends. It is that time of year again when I get to share with you all of my new purchases, specifically for the spring of 2025. I also went to a coin show recently, so I hope you stick around to hear all about that. I am Dean with Massabesic Gold and Silver. Thank you so much for stopping in and checking out my channel. Out of all the channels on YouTube, you stumbled across mine today. I hope you watch a lot of my videos and put lots in the comments because I really do enjoy reading those comments. So, yes, I went to a fairly large regional coin show a weekend ago. It was a lot of fun. I ended up going to the New Hampshire Coin and Currency Expo right in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is really right down the road from my house, only about 20 minutes away. I was there for 2 days, and it was so much fun talking to dealers, selling some coins, and buying some coins and currency. So that's what this video is all about today. I wanted to talk about the show, show you some of my purchases, show you some of the items that I sold, and talk about some of the conversations I had with some dealers. One of the first dealers I met, great guy to talk to. I ended up being there about 40 minutes at his table. He let me do a little videoing. He had this beautiful 1884 S Morgan dollar in a AU58. Really wonderful, great price on it as well. Right next to it, he had this 1889 Carson City Morgan silver dollar with an AG, also a great looking coin. Not every dealer had prices on their items. They were a little leery. I think they didn't want to scare people away. This dealer I really enjoyed. Right in the center of all these Morgan dollars, he has this beautiful 1893 San Francisco in extremely fine 40. He was asking $10,500, which is actually a really good deal considering two in the same grade sold last fall, in the fall of 2024. One for over $12,000 and the other one for a little over $17,000. So it was great just seeing a ton of coins, seeing a ton of currency. It was just a lot of fun, making some great deals, selling some coins, selling some things, and then buying some really nice items for my personal collection. I'm going to start with a coin that I sold. The first day I went, I only brought one coin with me. I brought my 1891 Carson City Morgan silver dollar. This coin was one of the first coins I purchased for my Morgan dollar collection. And I had thought at the time that I would collect all the Carson Cities, and I may still do that. And I got a decent deal on this coin because it was in an old annex holder. I had toyed with the idea of cracking it out and sending it off to PCGS or NGC. But after receiving the coin, I thought, well, that's a big gamble. It might not come back a Mid-State 64. It might come back a 63, which would affect the value of the coin quite a bit. Overall, the obverse of the coin I really enjoyed, but there is quite the carbon spot on the reverse, which I did not notice it when I purchased it online. Yes, I could have returned the coin, but at the time, I was just so new to Morgan dollars that I just decided that I'd hold on to it. So I walked the whole show, hit every table, looked at a lot of different coins with my 1891 Carson City in my pocket, and I was just really waiting to see which coins I was most interested in. And some of you know that I've been really trying to put together a Morgan dollar San Francisco collection. So I was really looking at a lot of San Francisco Morgan dollars throughout the entire show. And there at one table, a dealer who I have bought from before online had a really great looking 1900S. They actually had two right next to each other. And so I ended up selling my 1891 Carson City to this dealer, David Kahn Rare Coins, who I bought from before online. And I purchased this 1900S Morgan silver dollar from them. So I ended up buying or getting a coin and walking away with more cash, which was kind of nice. This is a really nice example. For those of you who watch Morgan Dollar Mondays, I will do a video on this coin specifically, but just the long and short of things. The typical 1900S has a decent luster, but the strike can vary from very, very flat to full. So when you're looking at a 1900S, you really want to look at strike, pay attention to that. And the reason why is I think it's even Miller who wrote that the 1900S, it is quite common in AU condition. And for a lot of new collectors, it can actually be really hard to differentiate between flatly struck mint state coin and a AU 1900S. So just for you newbies out there, really you got to pay attention to your strike with the 1900S. And I thought I did a fairly good job here. You can see on the reverse here, I'm just noticing for the first time, I think that's a little, some striations there. You can see right behind the eagle's head and right there in front of the eagle's throat. Looks like maybe some striations there in the planchet, which is kind of cool. That's just like the roller marks from when they rolled out the planchet. So that's pretty cool. But overall, I thought this coin had a decent strike, and it was in the price range that I could afford because in mint state, the 1900S, especially in higher grades like mint state 64, mint state 65, you're talking over $1,000 for that coin. This coin did not cost even remotely close to that, even though I could have bought the coin next to it for $1,300. I decided to go with this one because I just like the look of it overall, and it had a better strike. So I will say you really got to watch your strike, especially on the obverse, not so much on the reverse, but that's another discussion. But right above Liberty's ear here on the obverse, you're really going to look at the strike there because like Wayne Miller and Bowers writes, they can be very, very flat right above there. And I wouldn't say this is a perfect strike, but I thought it was a fairly strong strike. They can come very, very flat. I'll throw up an example of a mint state coin that has a very flat strike, almost like New Orleans Morgan silver dollars with that very, very weak strike in the center. So again, I thought this coin had a fairly strong strike. I'm not going to say it's razor sharp, but it definitely is nicer from what I've seen. And a lot of these do come bag marked, and this one here you can see is no beauty in the cheek mark, but for a mint state 62, I thought it didn't look too bad. And so I thought I would purchase it. Had nice luster, had a nice strike, was in my price range. It also has the CAC sticker, which is kind of nice to see on a coin like this. So I thought I would go for it. And like I said, I walked away from the table with not only this coin, but with a lot of cash in my pocket. Some other stuff that I was able to sell at the show was some mint sets. And I had a whole bunch of silver proof sets from 1956 all the way up to 1967. And I thought, it would be a perfect opportunity to really bring these by the dealer tables to see if I was able to sell some of these. And I did go with a couple other Morgans too. I brought with me on day two. I brought these mint sets in with me with some very common date, lower grade Morgans. We're talking like $60, $70 coins. And I sat down with one dealer who was buying, and he was okay. I'm not going to say he was, super generous, but he did take all of these off my hands for retail, or not retail, sorry. Oh boy. For wholesale, really, actually, I'd say even a little under wholesale. But that's okay. Because I did, like I said, make out with some of the other items that I sold. And to me, just to get some cash in hand was nice. And with that cash, I went over and bought this coin from another dealer, William Elliott, local coin dealer. He had this in his display, and what I really liked about it is he has this lovely toned coin, and he doesn't care that it's toned. And I'm really glad, because I shouldn't say he didn't care. He said, yeah, it's a nice tone, but he's just not one of those dealers that believes that toning is going to add thousands of dollars to a coin, especially on a common date. And this is a very common date. This is an 1881 San Francisco. I really, really like the color on this coin. And he was very, very good about that. He said, "Hey, make me an offer." And I thought I made him a good offer, which he must have thought as well, because we shook hands on it, and I walked away with this coin for a little over $300. And it's just a really, really nice looking coin. I will say there were other Morgan dollar dealers at the show that had a lot of toned Morgans, and they were 3 to 4 to 5 times the typical value of the coin in its grade. Like I saw some, very common date Morgan dollars, like 1884 O's and 1880 S's, very, very common dates in like 63s and 64s. And they were asking $500, $600, $700 because they were toned. You really got to watch that, because that's another video as well. But toned coins I do enjoy, but the prices on toned coins still seem to be a little crazy. And who knows, someday toned coins might go the way of the dodo, and you're stuck holding coins that numismatic value is a lot lower than what some of the toning experts go with. But just looking at this coin here, you can see that it is really nice toning. I don't think it's anything spectacular. You don't get that real rainbow look to it. You do get the different rainbow colors, but I mean, like, you don't get that almost rainbow effect, like a spectrum, if you will, on the coin. But again, I really liked it, and this is an upgrade for me. I do have 2 other 1881 S's in my collection, but they are in gem state, 65s, and this here is a really nice 66. Again, not too hard to find out there. You can really find 81 S's and 66 pretty much at any coin show. But this one here just had that unique factor, and I thought the luster was really nice. And the dealer was pleasant. He was a really great guy to talk to. A lot of fun to chat with, and he's also a local dealer, so it was nice to make a deal with him for, like I said, just a little over $300 for that coin, which was really nice. Really made me happy to be able to pick up something like that. Okay, let's talk currency. There was a lot of currency out there. A lot of people, I will say, a lot of the dealers, they really enjoyed talking, but they did not want to be on camera. They did not want to have their stuff recorded. So all of these pictures that I took, I did ask permission. I just didn't take pictures or do videos. I always did, but most of the people were comfortable with me taking a picture of their items to show you guys and to show some of my friends who are into currency. By far the most popular notes, I think, at the show was the Bison, the Chief, and the Battleship. A lot of those were really, really displayed. And there was, yes, some fancies. And this one here, 0s and 7s on a star note. You know me, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I'm a sucker for fancies, or I should say a sucker for fancies with 0s and 7s. And this one I just had to purchase. And the 2 guys I purchased this with, they also were into fancies. And they had some really great fancies, fancy serial numbers, that is. But this one fits right into my collection, and it's a really, really nice note overall. On a Series 2001, which I thought was pretty cool. Nice repeater serial number, 007, 007, and on a star note. I'm sorry, that's just a cool factor. It is. I know this is just a Federal Reserve note, and they print billions of these, but I just thought it was really, really cool. And it fits, like I said, into my collection of 0s and 7s. And overall, I think this would, I think it would grade pretty nicely. I can't tell, exactly what the grade would be. I will say on the reverse, the note here, the margins, or I should say the border, is a little bit off, so I don't think it would grade much past a 64. But overall, it's a clean note. There's no folds or creases that I can see. Again, I'm not a professional grader. I'm new to grading, but from my understanding, you have to have that really good alignment, and this does not have the best alignment. But I'm okay with that because, like I said, it fits right into my fancy serial collection of 0s and 7s. And this is just, like I said, it's a great note, phenomenal note. I did purchase it for $200 from the dealer. I thought it was a good deal for me, at least, because, like I said, goes right into my collection, fits well, and it's a star note. You don't always see too many star notes out there with zeros and sevens on it. I have a radar with a star, and now I have a repeater with a star. So it makes me happy. I know most of you do not care about fancy serial numbers, but it was a really cool note for me to pick up, and I'm glad I did. And like I said, the guys, again, they are fairly local and really nice as well. But I do want to show you some other currency. For those of you who are interested in currency, there was a lot of world banknotes there. This dealer specialized in Canadian numismatics, so he had a ton of Canadian currency, a ton of Canadian coins. His table got real busy real fast, so I had to move on. This gentleman out of Boston, really great guy to talk to, specializes in errors. You can see all these error notes all around these gold certificates. What was cool was he bought all of those gold certificates from some coin dealers during the show before it officially opened. But just some beautiful notes, a lot of star notes, a lot of star notes. This guy had some amazing notes, amazing star notes, some great stuff. But this one here, this note right here caught my eye. The 5 known, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to him about this note, and I really wish I had, because I did some research on this FR number, and the one that is known sold for $138,000 in April of 2008. The same note sold for only $49,000 in April of 2013. So I could only imagine how much he was asking for this note. His table was super busy. I never got a chance to talk to him, but that's just an ultra cool note when you think about it, that there's only 5 of them known out there. So that's pretty cool. So another dealer that was at the coin show, I didn't actually get to talk to too long. And I bought a note from him, but I didn't buy it at the show. I bought it at an antique dealer where he has a little booth. And so I swung in on Monday after the show just to see if he had anything new in his display case. And I spotted this gold certificate, this $10 gold certificate. I thought it was nice. I think it's probably going to grade out as a very fine, maybe, at VF. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm new to currency grading, but overall it looked nice. So I took a gamble. It was a, inexpensive price. So I thought, hey, what the heck, might as well go for it. So I'm glad I did, because I don't have a gold certificate. Well, I should say I don't have a small size gold certificate. And I do have a lot of $10 bills. So I thought, hey, what the heck, let's go for it. But this is just a great looking note. Really good color for the serial number and seal as well. So, sometimes they can look a little faded, but this one I thought looked really, really nice, really, really good color. So I went with it. I will say, if you like gold, you need to at least have one gold certificate in your collection. At least that's just my humble opinion. It just... they just look so cool. I'm sorry, they do. So this is from a series 1928 gold certificates, and it's a great, isn't that cool? I don't know. To me, it looks just so cool. So I was really glad I purchased this. And like I said, he was at the coin show, the coin and currency show, but I didn't end up buying anything from him there, but I did buy something from him at the antique shop, which is really kind of funny when you think about it. I did walk away with quite a bit of money from selling stuff. And what I thought was funny was one of the $100 bills that I walked away with just so happens to be from the monochrome series, which is really cool because you don't see them all the time. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, that really cool monochrome. But let's take one more look here at this 81S in a Mint State 66. Just a really beautiful coin. And like I said, I spent $350 on this coin. You do not have to spend that much. I probably could have found a blast white one for $300, or maybe even a deal at like $275 or maybe $280 something, if you really stuck it to the dealer. But in this case, I was very happy to pay $350 for this coin because it's a 66. And like I said, I really like the toning. To me, it adds a little character, adds a little unique factor to a coin that you can absolutely find out there with no trouble at all. Well, thanks, folks, for sticking around and watching this. And until we meet again, everybody, stay safe and continue to enjoy.